Welcome in, everybody. My name is Zachary Zirzo. I'm one of the tutors with Prep for Success, and I'm so excited to bring you another informational video. This one being about one of the most crucial soft skills on this exam, and that's being able to distinguish between strong and weak language. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The important thing to understand is that the conversational definition of these words is entirely irrelevant. The only thing that matters is what quantifier family these words belong to. And what I mean by quantifier family is that we have, three different categories for the LSAT. We have all, most, and some. And regardless of what word you're using within these families, the only thing that matters is the definition of the family that they belong to. This can be tricky. It doesn't feel right when you're first starting, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be applying these in no time. So let's deepen our understanding by going through each in turn. First, let's start with the all category. This one tends to be the most intuitive because it's just every member of a group. Right? So words like all, every, any, these are describing words that are encompassing every member of a category. Importantly, no or none also belong to this all family because they too are describing every member of a category, but in the negative way rather than the positive, still encompassed within the purview of this all group. We can then make our way down to the most quantifier, which is still what we would describe as strong language because it's establishing more than half. Some members of this group are fairly straightforward, right? Words like most or more than half are kind of obviously going to be within this family. But there's some words that can be a little bit more trickier to analyze. Things like generally, typically, usually, and probably are going to be most quantifiers as well. But at their core, these are words that are describing more than half. And that is the question that we always must be asking ourselves when trying to determine whether something belongs to the most category. Right? If we look at a word like probably, its basic definition is that, probability speaking, this is more likely to happen than it won't. Perfect. So it's a most quantifier. Or if I say usually, well, usually, similarly, is going to establish that this is something that happens more than it does not, therefore making it within the most quantifier. So whenever you're trying to determine if something should be within this family, asking yourself, is this something that is definition-wise establishing that it will happen more than half of the time, should be a useful tool. And the most crucial distinction when analyzing the quantifier is between most and some, because in conversational language, these bleed into each other. But some just means one or more, right? So it's actually an incredibly weak quantifier. All I need to establish is that there is one singular thing that has this attribute that I'm describing. Importantly here, with these quantifiers, we are establishing a minimum, but not a maximum. So if I say some dogs are cute, or even most dogs are cute, that is not implying that some are not. And so that's a really important concept to understand from the outset here. Now, kind of similar to the most quantifier, there are some members of this family that are fairly intuitive and easy to identify. Words like some, few, rarely, right? We can understand that these are fairly weak words. But other members of this category are a little bit harder to distinguish. Words like many, several, often, frequently, a significant number of. Now, these words definitely do not feel as if they are extraordinarily weak, but again, because they do not meet that threshold of 50%, they're going to be within our sum quantifier, and their only meaning is one or more. To really embody the difference between the most and the sum category, let's do a little thought experiment. Let's say that I make two distinct claims, the first of which being that most dogs are cute, and the second of which being that a significant number of dogs are cute. On its face, these don't feel like fundamentally different claims, but a deeper analysis reveals just how different they actually are. Because if I say a significant number of dogs are cute, again, remembering that that's just a sum category, which will mean that I'm really only claiming that one or more dogs are cute. So in order to prove this claim, all I would need to do is grab a dog off the street, show it to you, and have you agree that it's cute, and I've met my threshold. I've proven to you that one or more dogs are cute. But in order to reach that most dogs are cute threshold, I would need to in some way create a catalog of every dog that exists in this world, verify whether it is or is not cute, and then show you the statistical analysis of the billions of dogs that I've now surveyed, showing that more than 50% of them are cute. We can see just how different these claims are, and that's why the most quantifier is very strong and the sum quantifier is very weak. Now, one final thing before I let you go. There are some other words that also are within this kind of strong, weak analysis that we should understand, right? Words like may, might, or could have a significantly different meaning than words like will or do, right? Because may, might, or could are basically only establishing that it isn't impossible for these events to occur, while the do and the will are establishing that it definitely will happen. And so if I say I might go to the store or I will, these are fundamentally different claims, and we must understand the distinction between them. The quantifier and strength of language conversation is one of the most crucial ones to have for the entire exam. Understanding and applying the various meanings of these terms on the test will significantly bolster your chances of getting any individual question right. I highly recommend that you spend some more time learning, understanding, and applying these concepts so that you can maximize your score come test day. I hope that these tips helped you, and I can't wait to continue assisting you in your LSAT journey. Thanks so much.